So, body image and living longer pertaining to technology. Like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two things, combine them, make them into one. I am a Discovery influencer. Yes, so body image and humans living longer. So body image and larger humans. As time evolves, humans grow bigger in size. Did you know? You guys notice that? I'm sure you do. Because to live amongst the public and so many individuals is to see obesity wide awake in that, right? As time evolves, humans grow bigger in size, yet humans are in fact living longer. Therefore, what could future health conditions be if technology helps us to live longer? Ponder that. Think about that. If we are a society that is becoming even more advanced in the realm of technology, helping us to live longer in a straight shot, right? It's to say, what will the future health conditions be if technology is helping to solve and resolve currently? Because see, technology once again is going to advance even further, where even there will more likely be a cure for AIDS as well as a cure for cancer. That's how it goes, as well as cures for deadly diseases and conditions, right? Terminal illnesses and all the rest, right? That's to ask. In 2019, I'm asking this question. I got to keep this video on hand, on file for even me to come back to, say 5-6 years from now. Or even 10 years. That's why you keep a world bank with that. As in, what you create, you keep copies of. Just in case there's issues online, right? On YouTube or elsewhere, right? But I would so love, because to be able to peer into the future is to be able to see that. Nanobots. I say it differently, right? The future, I spoke on this on one of my other videos. The future is going to involve chips, curing cancer, HIV, and all the rest, right? Did I say HIV and AIDS, right? Curing that, right? And yet they're going to be little robotics type of systems placed, embedded within the human body to take care of that sort of thing, right? That's going to help us live longer. That's going to drive out cancer and HIV in the years to come, right? Somewhere about 2030 or so. 2031 is going to be where all that is going to be resolved, the issues, right? And yet if technology helps us to live longer, what that is to say, what other health conditions? Because I tried to think that out. What other? Because to know that the world is imbalanced, that leads to imbalances. To have an imbalanced world, there's toxins in the atmosphere. There's all type of things that's going on. Negativity can lead to an imbalance as well, right? Imbalanced minds too can lead to imbalanced health, as well as an imbalanced environment. Eating imbalanced foods can lead to illness and sickness, right? And yet scientists and researchers and all the rest that goes into it, in the solving and resolving, right? That's to bring the world somewhat back into balance, and yet not completely. Because even to solve and resolve something with robotics is to say something else is going to be hanging out somewhere. Some imbalance pertaining to even the imbalance of a world system. Once you start, that's going to say that the population is going to be, see, I'm able to see way ahead, configuring mathematics. If I'm a society, people in the past were dying off from illnesses, right? And yet technology is advancing enough to cure that, right? And yet imbalances leads to medical issues and die off too soon, right? And yet to fix that with robotics is to say that edges up and remove some of the imbalance in society, right? And yet it doesn't. It's going to place us even more imbalanced once robotics starts to cure things, because to know that the population, that's where the imbalance is going to come from. I'm able to see that. To know more and more babies are being born every day, right? And the population stands at 7.8 billion. We're going to go up into 8 billion soon enough, right? Humans live longer. If we live longer, that's to say the population is going to be expansion of overgrowth of humans. So so the robotics right there is going to help cure what we need to be cured, the cancer and HIV, AIDS and all the rest. That's going to take care of that. And yet the world is going to shift even more imbalance pertaining to the population growth. More humans here in existence on Earth. That's going to cause some type of issue. The living longer. It's going to cause us some type of issue where it's going to even have a greenhouse effect, even much more deeper, right? It's going to have because people don't get rid of their trash properly, which is why New York is known to be a landmine full of rats everywhere, right? People don't really distribute their trash properly, even around the world. Outside of New York, outside of the four walls of America, people don't get rid of their trash properly. Waste and products and all type of garbage and filth ends up in oceans, right? That's how animals suffer with that, right? You got whales that leads to gagging and death, right? Dolphins and all the rest, right? Whatever, when it comes to sea and ocean and all that pollution, right? That's what's gonna make it so somewhere it's gonna be some suffering on the other end. Humans will live longer pertaining to technology, and yet it's gonna cause some die-off elsewhere. Not everybody has respect for other people's property, territory, and the rest, as in getting rid of trash, throwing stuff in the right trash receptacle, getting rid of waste products, right? And that's to say even animals are going to suffer even more as humans live longer. Out in the ocean, out in the sea, I'm able to see that's where the imbalance is going to shift. Because even overgrowth of population causes issues. We're overpopulated in the world to begin with, right? For every person that lives, there's a person that dies, right? But every person that's born, as to say whoever was living, is going to live longer. They're not going away, right? And so some people feel that, well, there's genocide in that. Not completely. Genocide is more so when you go to war and you kill people off, pertaining to you have an effect on them being able to have babies as a reproduction. That's real genocide. A real genocide is me going over to Asia, striking a bomb or something, and it's laced with some type of chemical where even a woman has a issue of reproduction. That's real genocide. Not being able to have healthy babies, or babies that come out the womb, or if they even come out at all. Real genocide is stopping reproduction. That's real genocide. Not saying, well, scientists are doing this and this and that to, kill us off or whatever and all this, right? That's not real genocide. Real genocide starts and ends at reproduction, as in you're not being able to reproduce. That's real genocide. Not everybody understands and knows that. Because to stop something from living is to cut it off right even before it comes out the womb. Or if it comes out the womb, it's coming out all, what's the term for it? It's coming out all deformed. Where even that child can't even have a healthy living, healthy life like other healthy or normal, considered normal individuals. People, they don't understand genocide as well at a deep level. Because see, Asia has been one of those type of places. Agent Orange. There's all type of Vietnam War. There's all type of things that when you go bomb and fight in the war, right, and you put heavy laden chemicals there that just it kills off of populations, but more than anything, reproduction is the first thing that they're aiming for. How can I spray this in a way during war in a genocide form where it's going to have effect on the future generations, where even the babies either won't be born, or if they do, they're deformed enough not to live properly or not live at all. As in, they might not have a progress into a long life, right? That's real genocide. Now, I'm not saying that genocide doesn't exist here in America. I'm not saying that pertaining to cancer, the cancer rate and everything being so high. But to know that we're living in the filth bin to begin with, pertaining to the environment, as in what is all placed out in the environment, that's to say cancer can find you anyway. Electronics, there's people, I can't say the name, that helps not get in trouble on my own end. But there's electronics that we in fact use that has nickel in it. There's some electronics. I'm sitting near one. Where's it at? There's some electronics that in fact, this is in fact nickel. This is in fact what we as humans really shouldn't be touching. Electronics that in fact are built and constructed for us to use every day that has nickel. To be a human and touch nickel too much, that is on an electronic device that we use every day, is to say cancer can be found in that. And not too many people know that sort of thing because it's not placed out to the media. It will be an uproar and all type of lawsuits and issues with that sort of thing pertaining to outing certain things like that. That's why it's kept quiet. I might in fact die of cancer myself. Hopefully I don't, touching on what I just touched on, as in what I use every day. That's why I keep that in a pouch. What I use every day, I try to keep it in a pouch where my hands ain't on the nickel, touching all on it like that. You can in fact buy cases for electronic devices so that your hands isn't really on it, to prevent your hands making contact with that nickel, because a high percentage in using stuff that has nickel, you're using it every day, touching it with your hands, can in fact lead to cancer. And I said that how many times? A lot of people don't know that many of our electronic devices are in fact made with nickel, either on the outside or somewhere on the end. And even nickel is prone to seep out, even in the air, right? And so, yeah, that type of stuff you want to know about. Because let me see this. My belt buckle. This belt buckle I got, I have various ones. I don't wear them often like that, right? But that's to say, even this belt buckle could be made out of nickel. You see this? That's cancerous. Nickel is. But the majority don't know that. That's why it helps to know what you're buying or consuming or whatnot, and just don't just buy things because other people are buying them. As in, try to know stuff for yourself, because you can be posing a health hazard for yourself not knowing what I'm speaking on. Some stuff you don't need in your environment if it's toxic, right? I think that's all to be said for now, because I'm trying to see where we're headed if populations of people end up living longer and dying less. We might get to a point where humans might start living 200 years. You don't even know when it comes to technology. As in, there might be a time frame later on in the future, in the 2030s, 2040s. I'll probably be dead by then. I probably will be with a shovel set on top of my head. But by then, there will possibly be where technology will more likely want to progress humans forward. Because, see, look, they will probably want to progress us in the realm of technology forward, where those that are in technology helping us to live longer, they might want to progress us to live to be 200 years, if not older, right? That's to say that can be done. But there will have to be a preserving of the body and the cells and all that internally outward. That will be robotics pointing in with that, as in how you preserve skin and skin cells pertaining to die off, right? But if it ever gets that far, even in today, that makes even genocide questionable right now, where I'm standing asking this question. Does genocide really exist in the form of what humans think that it is? Or maybe genocide exists in another form pertaining to wars, and yet it's not in the form of scientists trying to kill us off. And I'm asking this question because if genocide exists, why would you need to want if genocide exists, why would you want people to live longer to begin with? Does that or does that not make sense? That's the conclusion in the realm of the research, my own. Statistically, if genocide exists here in America, right? We're going to stay right here in America with this discussion, despite discovery being global, because most Americans feel like the government and everybody else is trying to kill us off as Americans. If that is the truth, then why try to help humans live longer? Those two don't match, as in they're off, they don't go together. Why would I be scientists trying to help cure and resolve stuff to help humans live longer and yet commit genocide in the same sentence? I don't think people consider that sort of thing. I just don't. I really don't think that the average person considers what I just said. Why would you want to commit genocide but at the same time be a scientist and trying to preserve humans by helping them live longer? Because if you were American government and you really wanted the people dead, you would just kill them completely off. As in not work on stuff scientifically to help us live longer. Those two don't go together. It don't make sense at all pertaining to when I hear people say, well, they're trying to kill us. It's genocide. They're trying to kill us off and all this other stuff. Well, if you're going to kill people off, you're not going to find ways and be trying to come up with stuff to help humans live longer. So that our population, remember, when it comes to statistically, the population is growing, not dying out. Despite cancer and all the rest and all this other stuff that's going on, the population is expected to grow. In the future, we're going to be way over 9 billion people. That's the answer. If the earth is in fact crying. I'm thinking the earth will get to a point where it'll start crying because everybody's laying on top of it, sitting and standing on top of it, right? And yet it's too weighted, the humans being on top of earth, right? One day the earth is just going to open up and wail. Seriously, because there's so many humans out here that's yes, everywhere, right? I can't see that. We are at 7 point, somewhere around 7.6, 7.7, 7.8 the population is, and yet we're expected to grow to 7.8 billion. We're expected to grow to 7.8 billion. And if genocide was really there the way people say that it is, we would not be growing like that. All over the world, not just America. People will be dying left and right, as in there will be no, because see, real genocide, I said that already. Real genocide stop things as it's happening, pertaining to making sure babies are dying out straight out of the womb. Does that make sense? If I'm going to commit real genocide, I'm going to be right here in America. I'm going to be the government, and I'm going to stop babies from coming out the womb so that the population can't grow to 7.8 billion. We're on the way there. And yet every day babies are being born, and yet they're coming out not malnourished, and they're coming out healthy and whole. Not all. Some babies are in fact born with certain issues. It depends on whatever happened biologically, right? Reproduction issues, right? Or it could be something that was handed down, traces of whatever from parents, DNA and all the rest, right? Sometimes government don't have things to do with that sort of thing. Some people feel maybe so when it comes to the food being laden with certain chemicals and crops being sprayed, right? That can have an effect on the baby. I get all that, right? And yet we're growing too massive for people to be saying, well, genocide, they're killing us off. we growing too massive. And not only that, many people, cancer patients and HIV patients are in fact expected to live longer, as in they are. There's patients out here, you can even see them on YouTube, who have had HIV for over 15 years and they're still alive. And where is Magic Johnson? Am I saying his name right? I should, because I even know that Janet Jackson has some ties with him in the banking system pertaining to what she signed her name to, them together in a venture, right? Banking and all the rest, right? That's over the head. But yeah, there's HIV patients out here. Now, the medications for HIV and cancer is not all completely up to par like it should be, right? I said robotics will replace that over time, and yet once again there's patients, HIV patients and other individual cancer patients that are living longer. And I'm thinking a scientist, if he really wanted to kill somebody off, he would, yeah, there will be no medication prescribed for even HIV individuals to live 15 years. Some of these people have been living a long time with HIV, and yet they're on multiple pills, medications, and yet they're living and progressing. I'm thinking even pills wouldn't even be distributed to them if genocide was really real. I'm able to see that. Because to not want nobody to live is to not want them alive. You would just want everybody that got something to die. Right? That's real genocide. People that have illnesses, as in chronic illnesses and all the rest, many of those people are living longer pertaining to technology and the medications, right? Technology helps you study what can be improved, right? Which is where the medications come in. Even medications for those people would not be distributed as well, because to be real deep on the deep end of practicing genocide is to not even provide those people with medications as well. So something is wrong with the picture pertaining to genocide, as in it stands questionable. What are the future? So once again, from the opening here to the ending, what is the future conditions, or what is the future health conditions if tech pushes us forward and cures? Why would genocide allow us to live longer if genocide wants us dead? That's the closing conclusion. So yeah, consider it. Leave me a comment in the comment section. I write it all out by hand. I should in every video. That's the point. What even that? Let me know what you think and feel in the comment section. I'm going to go for now. Enjoy your day, and I will in fact enjoy mine.